you doing?
Right.
He said, this hat prevents me from getting all these hookers in Times Square.
Yeah.
Because he lived in New York.
Yeah.
He's like, I have this hat on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a hooker in Times Square because it disgusts me.
Yeah.
Okay? What would that animal be without the hat?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, that's my attitude. And I want to say that that's why you gave me such a hard... That's why you give such a hard time to any frummy that does sins in public. Like we talked about the guy who walks into Jeff's Gourmet and he's got a shirt and he says, like, I'm doing your son or whatever. Remember that? And you were like, had like a heart attack, right? Yeah. You said, this guy deserves like the death penalty. It's horrible. Right? It's, you know? And we were talking about that, but I think a lot of it comes from you don't like the idea of anyone holding some part of Torah, not all of it. You don't like that inconsistency. And I think it comes from that Amalek letter. And that's why you asked me twice, during our interview, you asked the same question twice. Early on, when I was sitting here in a chair, and then out on the street on Robertson. You asked the same question twice. It's the only question you asked twice. You know, why would you ask the same question twice? Think you're going to get a different answer? You asked me, did I believe, how did I justify whatever, what you believed was a Chil Hashem by me being in comedy? So I explained to you, I said, it's not a Chil Hashem, it's a Kiddush Hashem. And then you asked me back out on the street, but what do you do about the Chil Hashem part? It's like this answer went in one ear, not the other, because you were projecting yourself onto me, and you were saying, you know, you're out there in porn, you've got a yarmulke on, I don't want to hear how you're making a Kiddush Hashem, because I don't accept that as an answer, you're making a Chil Hashem. And if the interview went another hour, you would have asked me a third time. Because you wanted me to confess to you what you wanted to hear and go, it's a Chil Hashem, I'm so ashamed. But I'm not going to say that. Because I don't hold that way. I hold a Kiddush Hashem. Okay? So these are just thoughts that are going through my head. Any comment?
No, it's interesting.
You wrote, and I quote, I loved to hurt people so they felt as miserable as I did. Well, that's what you were hoping for. You were hoping for, if you could keep asking me this question over and over and over again, right? I would finally break down and go, it's a Chil Hashem what I'm doing, right? But that's what you want to do, but it's not going to come from me. Another thing is, you like to hurt me by having your friends trash me in front of my friends in your chat room. And I'm just wondering if it's all part of the, you love to hurt them as miserable as I did. You want me to experience your pains. I'm not going to put up with that. Why do I have to put up with that from you? This is why I say moral leader my ass. Okay, and finally, you quoted someone, this I found was interesting, saying you never swear, some woman.
Yeah.
And that you dislike cussing.
Yeah.
You said, please don't use that kind of language around here. Well, I cuss all the fucking time on your thing, right? But you've never said anything to me about it, but I wonder how all of my cussing affects you.
I don't like swearing in public.
Okay.
But it's not a big deal.
Okay, well, how come she said that it was?
Well, because almost all my interactions with you are on a show, on YouTube. They're part of a show. They're part of the production and work. So whether or not I like or dislike your cussing, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because we're doing a show. With Kathy, we were primarily friends, and so we would talk about, you know, things would come up, and I don't remember saying that I didn't like it, but yeah, I'm sure I probably said that, but that was just in the context of two friends talking. But on a show, it's not relevant, you know, what I like or don't like. I just want you to be yourself and to do the best work, and that's far more important to me than whether you swear.
Right.
I mean, I don't like swearing.
Okay.
Yeah, I would rather you didn't swear, but it's not important.
You know where that comes from?
It's much more important to me that you feel comfortable and do.
All right, I appreciate that. Thanks for answering. You know where you get that from? Your Christian background. Christians have a big, that's a big thing in Christianity. That's a big mitzvah in there. It's like, don't swear. If you swear, you're like going to hell. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, it's a much bigger deal in Christianity.
It's Christianity. It's not a big fucking deal in Judaism, but everybody who I know who grew up Christian still has like that. You know, it's like just like some things that like they're like more like about. One of them is that, another one's masturbation.
Yeah.
Talk to a Catholic about masturbating.
Any
like,
sexual sin. And,
you know, it's like, okay, but I'm not touching down there.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, it's not the end of the world. You know, it's like, well, I'm gonna go to hell. You know, it's like, okay. So like these are like the things that carry like tremendous weight.
Yeah. Yeah, these were big deals in my childhood.
Right. And
Yeah.
in your case, the vegetarianism, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
Right? That there's no Torah Kedusha in your motivation to be a vegetarian at this point. None.
And that's what I said to the group of vegetarians. I said that I don't think there's... that being a vegetarian makes someone a better person. For instance, Hitler was a vegetarian. The Nazis were really big against experimenting on animals. They were really big against smoking. Like, I don't think any of these things necessarily make you a better person, just like I don't think that keeping kosher and davening 3 times a day necessarily makes you a better person. I know someone keeps strict kosher, I know someone davens 3 times a day. I'm not at all... I'm no more likely to believe that they're going to be an ethical or a decent person.
That's what I answered to somebody at one time. Somebody asked that question.
Probably me. I mean, I've asked a lot of people that question. If you know that someone keeps kosher, do you have any reason to believe that they're more ethical?
And I said no, and you laughed.
Yeah, I laughed not because I think
here.
you're wrong, but because I agree. That just because someone keeps kosher or davens 3 times a day or keeps Shabbos doesn't mean that they're going to be more decent, more ethical, more kind.
I agree with that.
So yeah, I don't think there's any inherent Kedusha in vegetarianism. I think it can be a vehicle for making people, say, more sensitive to life. I grew up with an abhorrence of fishing. I didn't like seeing a fish flipping around on a hook. So I think it's possible that vegetarianism can develop your sensitivity to life. But just like it's possible that keeping kosher can develop you morally, and praying 3 times a day can make you a better person.
Okay. So what'd you think of my overall write-up, a review of your book?
I was struck by all the parallels.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you knew those parallels before you handed me the book.
I knew some of them, but I never really thought that much about it. Like when you mentioned Andy Kaufman and how it's done, I didn't
that
think
blows
twice.
me away. That blows me away.
I didn't think twice about it. Like, yeah. So.
Because I could have just said, on the street, like, Woody Allen and I think it was Lenny Bruce. I have no, I have no influence from these people. You could have said, like, what's that guy? Jackie Mason, Jewish, and what's that guy? Jon Stewart or something. No, I got to go with Kaufman, like some obscure guy that nobody likes, right? And Howard Stern, who's like, all about all these things that you would never think connected to me. Right. And that was the answer I gave you.
Right.
You didn't know that in your book those were the 2 guys?
No, I didn't. And I mean, as soon as I Googled you before we did the interview and I watched your videos, I mean, it said, okay, this is someone a very similar wavelength to me. This is obviously a misfit.
Oh yeah, but then I don't get more misfit than
a rebel in Orthodox life, and outspoken and
that's
unpopular.
Unpopular. I'm very popular with the people I'm popular with, right? Because I get comments from people all the time. Jesus, you're so popular compared to other people who are How do I explain this? So other people who are probably more popular than I am, I appear to be more popular than them. Does that make sense? Because on the internet or whatever, I'm like a sensation. Does that make sense? So I'm very popular on the internet, but at the same time, in person,
you're not popular where it counts and like able to make your life better because where you got like community and people you feel comfortable with and have meals together. No,
I'm on the outskirts.
And create a life together.
I'm on a different zip code.
Like closely bonded.
No, I'm in the different zip code.
There's all the difference. It's 1,000 times more significant to be popular with the people that you're physically around and can spend time with than to be popular with people online.
Right. Okay, so that's a good way. You answered it good. I'm popular online, but I'm not popular
where it counts.
Where it counts. And you actually can see that in there's one chapter in my book where I talk about when I was engaged